welcome to the Midweek Mashed Tattie Sportscast. This is MMA Mash, the weekly mixed martial arts roundup that features all the latest news and reviews from the UFC, One Championship, Bellator, the PFL, and so much more. My name is of course Mick, and as always, I'm joined at cage side by the man that's more question and answer. It's Mr. Paul Kerr.
Yo!
And the ever controversial Mr. Harvey A. Smith. What's happening, lads?
What's up, brother?
Oh yeah. We have a full house this week. Everybody's back with us.
I'm back, baby.
We have a busy week, lads. Well, we have had a busy week, I should say. So I think if you don't mind, we should just get right in about it.
Let's get right in about it.
Yeah.
Let's get it on. So we shall kick it off with one championship. It was 159, the return of one. So they returned with a bang. It was a really good card, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, I know you've been quite busy, charity football and stuff. So
Living that footballer lifestyle once again.
Harvey, did you get a chance to check out one?
I've seen a few highlights.
Oh, controversial.
I've been super busy enough. So.
Fair play. Right, well, I did watch it. For most of the fights, I had Dwayne running about, so I wasn't able to fully concentrate on it. But it did pass my eyes, so hopefully I remember stuff about it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do... What was the big moments? There was a lot of stoppages, I've got to say.
Mm-hmm.
It started out with De Silva and Tai Ho submission one. Then next one was a finish as well.
That was.
Right, so
Did you? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you there, but did you see in that fight there with the De Silva and Tejo, like De Silva was just smashing his legs, and he smashed him one time, and he just buff. He was like, nah. His leg just like said, nope.
he did the wee stutter step and then didn't he went?
Aye, he just laid in his back. It was like, oh.
I was surprised at that. I thought that fight was going to get stopped like via the leg kicks. Like I thought, like the referee was just going to be like having to step in, just be like, "You can't walk. Come on." That's enough.
Sorry, pal. You can't walk.
I kind of held in there until he got submitted. See, the whole time watching that fight, I just kept hearing that song in my head, that Jai Ho thing. I don't know if it's Nicole Scherzinger or somebody like that, but it's Jai Ho. Every time the commentators said Tai Ho, I just immediately held it in my
Tai Ho!
It works.
He sung it.
Oh no.
If that's not his entrance music by his next pay-per-view card, he is missing out and selling himself as a star.
Oh, can you imagine?
Everybody should be singing Tai Ho
Singapore
to that
Arena.
man.
Everybody in that Singapore Arena just singing Tai Ho as he walks in.
Aye. I'll just shouting Tai Ho at him, because really that's what happens at the Jai Ho bit. It's the guy who shouts it.
Everyone does that kind of muttering. Tai Ho!
Basically, that's one of the kind of songs. Aye.
Right.
Money to be made.
So next up, Guffarov defeating Sexton. Another stoppage. That was TKO in round 3. I'm trying to remember what ones like really stood out, but all I can think was there was a lot of stoppages.
So Nolan.
The next fight, Clinme.
So Clin. If you Paul. You should you should see that knockout. That's a good June. I don't mean to laugh, but when he punches him like off up.
Was that the one with the big step in, straight right or left, whatever it was, and he like knocks him stiff?
Aye, so Nolan goes to kick him and he steps in with a left, buff, smashes him, and Nolan just goes to the ground, boom. And then he tries to come back up and he's like, no. His arms just go stiff and he goes to the side. Aye. Yeah, he's
that was brutal. It was a good fight. The first round was good in that. And it was just...
Aye. And that was about 5 seconds into the second round.
It was 5 seconds in, man. It was like basically the first exchange of the second round. He just absolutely flattened him.
Oh, he literally did. That's like a reanimated corpse trying to come back to life there, isn't it? That's Resident Evil stuff. Raising off the flare. No, you're done, pal. No, don't bite me.
His body was done.
That was...
He was shot then.
There's another one. I think it's probably the next fight after.
Clint Mee was that excited that he literally huckled his own corner man to the ground as well, which I liked. He was that excited he threw his own teammate to the ground in the celebration. Outstanding.
The next fight was another TKO knockout.
Williams and
you should watch.
Jai.
Yeah, that one. Mini T and Lil Gun. The nicknames
rapper names, man.
Yeah.
What else we got?
If you can get that one up.
Oh, don't you worry. I am catching. Hey, but what do you call it when an elephant runs? A big dash. A big dash. Now that I have indeed seen.
Okay.
Like how I did that there. Go on, admit you do. I've brought the podcast.
Zhang Peiman and Arslan Beck Zikriv. That was really fun. That was a good fight, man. Peiman is called the Fighting Rooster. That's his nickname.
That's right, the Fighting Rooster. What a nickname.
That was a kickboxing fight. I really enjoyed that one.
Rooster.
And then Muay Thai, PK Senchai and Vladimir Kuzmin. That was a cracker as well.
Aye. I think PK Senchai, anytime he fights, it's...
I've not seen a boring fight for him.
Aye. No, I know. It's just always fireworks.
And then co-main event, the interim atomweight Muay Thai title. That was really good, man. It was basically like two different generations fighting in that one. So it was Janet Todd that picked up the victory. She, if memory serves, she's 36, and she was fighting Lara Fernandez, who, if memory serves, is like 26. Or maybe younger. Like she's. So it was like two different generations sort of thing, and so Janet Todd picked up the victory, but it was a really fun fight. So it was. Lara Fernandez is like the future of that division, man. And main event, man, the Dutch Knight, Renier de Ridder, RDR. He is a beast, man. Picked up an impressive submission win over Vitaly Big Dash.
Big Dash.
Aye, he was.
Basically started with RDR trying to rush inside, pressure him against the cage. Big Dash got a hold of him, jumped in a guillotine, and it looked like it was Denzel.
Pretty done. Really that's what I was thinking. Was when I was watching it, was he's a goner here. But
RDR's a really good grappler, man. He was able to ride it out and escape, and then ended up catching him in a wee sneaky reverse triangle choke. It was very well done, man. Very impressive.
He's retains his world championship.
So he retains his middleweight title for MMA. He also holds, I believe, the kickboxing title.
I think it's kickboxing as well.
And he's now talking about going up. That guy's impressive.
Did you see that knockout?
What for?
The Mini T one.
You got a clip of it, Paul?
Sorry? Of?
the fight that Harvey was talking about, Mini T and Lil, whatever it was.
I was trying to look and get neighbour, by the way. The nicknames don't.
Daniel. Okay, hold on.
You'll get on my notes on Notion. You'll get a clip out if it plays. It's not like it played for me, but it might play for you.
Oh, wow. Fair enough, aye. I mean, I know that wasn't quality podcast. Oh, aye, there you go. Took me a wee bit to find it there, but I hope the reaction was worth it. Oh. I've never seen somebody find an off switch like that in a man's face. And at least he's showing a bit of respect. Fair play, bro. Switch that boy off. Wow. Just,
Yeah, he literally. I shut the.
his full body did a wee hoogly shoogly dance move like, oh yeah, and down he went. I'm going out sassy, and away down he went face first. Damn, and he is sleeping nighty night, man.
Yep.
Aye. Wow. Yep. Absolutely worth seeing.
So, moving on. We're going to keep it moving. Bellator 283, also on July 22nd. I don't know if I said July 22nd for one championship. Don't think I did. But they were both on Friday. One championship during the day for like UK time, and then Bellator at night. Did you see any action from Bellator?
No, just apart from the one that you had said.
Right, okay, cool. Right, we'll do a quick run through. I think we'll just scan through the results and then we'll see what we want to talk about. Archie Colgan defeating Brian Nuro, DKO, round 3. Jalen Bates defeating Mark Coates via split decision. Roman Faraldo defeating Luis Iniguez via KO, round 1. Ahmed Magomedov defeating Kevin Boehm via submission, real naked choke. Worth noting that Magomedov was the first of 3 Team Khabib guys on the card. Then we had Gadzi Rabadanov defeating Bobby King. Veta Ortega defeating Vanessa Porto via submission. Dalton Rosta defeating Romero Cotton via TKO, round 3. Then I'm pretty sure this was second Team Khabib guy. It was Tafik Musayev defeating Sydney Outlaw via KO punches, round 1. Then on to the main card. This is the one I was telling you guys about. Sent you the clip. Marcelo Golm defeating Davion Franklin, submission, round 3. In round 1 of that fight, Franklin, who is an absolute gorilla, got a hold of Golm and popped him up in his shoulders like he was nothing, and then basically threw him. For anybody that's watched any wrestling that's ever seen Brock Lesnar, it was something akin to his F5 finish, where he just launches guys. And Golm, to his credit, man, he like landed in his face and bounced straight back up. He was immediately then like suplexed, or I think it was a suplex. It was like a kind of double leg into like a high lift and took him over, kind of thing. Faye Franklin again, but he fought back, and then second round Franklin started to tire, and Golm slowly kind of took control of the fight. Ultimately won by submission in the third round, as it says. Then we had Mohamed Berkamov versus Lorenz Larkin. That one was a shit show. It was declared a no contest after an unintentional illegal elbow. Basically, Berkamov was shooting in for a takedown, and Larkin, you know, like the guys like to go for that kind of elbow into the side of the head when somebody's shooting in for a takedown on them. He went for something along the lines, but like he aimed it, I guess. He didn't get the trajectory right, and it like kind of skidded across the back of his head rather than on the side of the head. And Berkamov couldn't continue. He looked like proper dazed, man. Like I hope he didn't get hurt for it, but always sketchy when it's like kind of back of the head and top of the spine. It's not a good area to be getting at. Co-main event of the evening was Usman Nurmagomedov, unsurprisingly, the final member of Team Khabib on the card. He picked up a submission win, very impressive submission win over Chris Gonzalez. It was a guillotine choke in the first round. Did not take him long at all.
It's popped his head off, man.
Right. And then main event was Jason Jackson defeating Douglas Lima. No boring fight, but also no an exciting fight. The main event, lots of wrestling. Jason Jackson was like he was non-stop. He was really active, so it was kind of like the good kind of sort of wrestling based one. He was always looking to strike or to improve position. kind of working towards a submission or whatever. But at the same time, he never really properly threatened Douglas Lima with a finish at any point. He just totally and utterly out-grappled him. So I don't think there's any issue with kind of giving him the decision, because it wasn't like a lane prey, didn't he just go and get into him and lie there. But aye, there was quite a few fans weren't they particularly happy with his efforts.
Where does that leave Douglas Lima for you? That's 4 in a row he's lost now. Jackson, Page, Amasov, Masasi. He was the champion.
Aye.
He's nicknamed the Phenom. It's not really a Phenom, is he?
He needs some time off, I think. He needs like 6 months to a year off, and he needs to like really think, is this still what he's wanted to do? If it is, then he needs to figure out what he has to do to get out the slump and get back to where he was, because at his peak he was probably the best welterweight known in the UFC. He was that good, and it's I don't know if he's just like past it. I've spoke before about the idea of like a kind of peak, like a performance window where guys just get in the groove and they might have one fight, they might have 10 fights, but at some point in time their time will kind of pass them by and they'll just not be able to get back to that same level of performance again. I'm not saying he's past it, but it's possible. So
it's quite a fall for grace. He's close to being a double champ to a bad streak. Like we're talking about him being one of the best in the world.
To be fair to him, whoever, like management, trainers, coaches, whatever, whoever is on his side that just acted like a yes man and allowed him to step up to middleweight to fight Gegard Mousasi, they're not used to him, because that was a terrible matchup for him, fighting a bigger guy who is a far superior grappler. It was never going to end well. He was just getting up too much in that fight. Like kudos to him for having the balls to go for that, but bad idea. And then a couple of kind of lackluster performances, losing decisions and stuff. So,
I notice he's an ATT guy as well. Like, I think he would be getting good advice. He's obviously a well-known gym and a lot of successful fighters.
It was maybe just kind of mislaid confidence. You know what I mean? Maybe just genuinely thought he had the tools to beat Mousasi. I mean, on the face of it, like Douglas Lima is a decent grappler. He has good jiu-jitsu. He's got reasonable defensive wrestling. He's a fantastic counter striker, strong, explosive guy. But this is Gegard Mousasi we're talking about, man. You know what I mean? He's like legitimately top 10 to 15 all time, any weight class. He's next level, especially when it comes to grappling, and his striking and stuff is really good. And he's like unassuming in how he looks. He is much stronger and more powerful than what you might think for how he appears. So, I didn't love the idea of him, Lima stepping up to fight him, and it obviously didn't work out. But anyway, yeah, that's what it is. We'll see where he goes for here. I'm sure Bellator will give him another chance. I don't think, it's UFC sometimes are really soaring guys, like three in a row, 4 in a row, you're gone.
And you're done now.
Very few guys can hit that kind of streak and survive it.
Aye. Well, he might be on a downward because he's had 43
He's been around for a long time.
He's been a long time, aye.
Yep.
He's 34, and like obviously everybody's body is different, so like you have some people who can fight at the very top and like up to into their 40s, and there's others who just their body just can't handle it anymore, and just that's it. So he might be, unfortunately.
On that, like, it is worth noting that he's known to have a really big weight cut. Guys with big weight cuts tend to not fight as long because it really hurts their body.
Off a cliff edge.
I mean, he's 6'1".
He's massive for welterweight, man. He's well over 200 pounds between fights. You know what I mean?
And he's cutting to 170. Like that's not good. I've got a quick question for you. just to move on for Lima. How did you say it was all of the team
Khabib guys? Right.
So, aye.
Going off memory, which can't be trusted, right? But Usman Nurmagomedov, definitely.
Right.
I'm pretty sure Ahmed Magomedov was.
Ahmed. And then,
it was either Gadzi Rabadanov or Tafik Musayev. I went with Musayev, but I could have been wrong. It might have been another one.
Well, okay. So, 2 of them are undefeated.
Right.
So, aye. So Usman
Magomedov
is undefeated, and if it was Mohammed Berkamov, he's undefeated.
No, I don't think he was. No, I think it was
No.
Tafik Musayev.
Oh, Tafik
I believe.
Musayev.
But it might have been Gadzi Rabadanov. I can't remember.
And then you have, and Ahmed
Magomedov, I'm sure he was one.
Magomedov. He's undefeated as well, 9-0.
But it was definitely there was
Pretty
3
good.
guys, and I'm sure of 2 of them that, and like Khabib and a couple of his kind of close sort of confidants or whatever you would cry them. They were in the guys' corners, like they were there.
It's going to be one of the most successful dynasties of all time in MMA as far as win percentage goes.
A hell of a
Solid
squad,
win
man.
percentage.
They're killers. They really are.
Aye, it's incredible.
A different like level of competitor.
Just
there's a couple of them,
solid in their abilities.
Usman Nurmagomedov in Bellator, and then I think I want to say it's Umar Nurmagomedov in UFC.
Umar's in UFC.
The 2 of them are the standouts. Like they've got the killer instinct. They'll go after stuff. They've got wild striking as well as the grappling.
Yeah.
They start the other guys are phenomenal grapplers, and they'll go in and they'll do what they need to do to win. They'll no give up. You know what I mean? But they 2 Nurmagomedovs, like they're the real fighters.
I mean that's what I was actually going to say, but then you've said it is that they seem to be adapting to have more weapons in which they can fire off with. Like it's not just the dominant wrestling ability and on the floor ability. Now it's different options of attack, like with the kicks. I mean, I remember Umar recently with the kicks, but just flicking up lovely wee kicks like a natural, like just. It's interesting.
I think in some ways it's like we've seen with the evolution of the sport in general, where you're getting guys coming through that have trained MMA specifically for a long time, so they have really good skill sets in all areas. There's always you always get the guys that are more natural at one thing over the rest kind of thing, but I think with Team Khabib, with them being a proper team now as well, and it's not just all focused on Khabib, and there's been a lot of time put into the younger guys coming through, they'll have been not just doing sambo or wrestling for a young age, you know what I mean, for their early teens or potentially earlier, they'll have been learning how to kickbox, Thai box, whatever kind of style it is that they favour, as well as the grappling stuff and everything. So I'm no surprised that, and it's a scary thought, man, that these 2 lads are coming through improving in what Khabib was doing, like the skill set he had.
We Russians with grappling abilities in general, man. It's just it's taken over.
I'm glad. Did you see? I haven't actually mentioned it on the podcast, but did you see that 2 or 3 weeks back, Zabit, what's his name? Zabit Marim Sharipov. I can't say his name, man. It's crazy. Something along the lines. He hadn't fought in like a year and a half, 2 years, but he officially retired. He only fought in the UFC like 3-4 times, but like that lad was this level of skill that he had was ridiculous. He could do everything. He was a fantastic striker, a phenomenal grappler.
Injury issues,
just no. Pandemic, couldn't travel, couldn't get
killed his
fights, and then for whatever reason through that he's lost the love for the game, and
that's killed him off.
He's moved on to do other things. Just decided that's not what he wants to do anyway. His younger brother was fighting in, I I think it was PFL. It was either PFL or Bellator. I'm not sure if he still is or not. So I think he was still doing some coaching with him and stuff. But aye, what a talent he was, man. It's a shame that we never got to see the best of him. Never got to see what he was truly capable of. Right, moving on to the UFC. Saturday night we had UFC London. Always love when the UFC's on at an actual watchable time. So my understanding is you have seen a bit more of this, lads. Is that correct?
Absolutely, aye. Being that this was a London event, you got to watch the home games, man.
Exactly.
Good time for us over here. Bad time for Harvey.
Well, I suppose it's... So
I suppose not really.
Are we doing what, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning, something like that, when it kicked off for you?
I was at work when it on.
Ah.
Oh well.
So
Cheers for you.
That's how the cookie crumbles, man.
So let's run through the card and then we'll see what's what. So the opener was Nicholas Dalby defeating Claudio Silva, unanimous decision. Should note there was quite a few decisions on this card. Did not live up to the precedent set by the previous London card a few months ago.
Be that, man, to be fair.
Second fight, we had Victoria Leonardo defeating Mandy Baum. Then we had Jai Herbert defeating Kyle Nelson. These are all unanimous decisions. Mohamed Mokayev, that's it, defeating Charles Johnson.
I thought he was very impressive, by the way.
Mokayev.
Aye.
He was a bloody letdown, is what he was.
You don't think so? I thought he did his bit.
That lad has a ton of talent. He's a Dagestan lad, but he grew up in just somewhere near Birmingham. I'm trying to think of the name of the bit. But anyway, he's effectively an English lad, but Dagestan heritage.
Right, okay. I mean, it's the first time I've seen him, so I wouldn't even know any of the judge off he previous, but
there was a
looks
lot,
like a talent, like.
There was a lot of hype around both him and Charles Johnson coming into this. And Mokayev especially. And I mean, don't get me wrong, like his grappling looked really good. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like that, there was no question he was winning that fight, but like he should really have been. I mean, as good as Charles Johnson seemingly is, like he should have been, based on the hype, he should have been ragdolling him and strangling him and finishing him handily. For whatever reason, it just didn't seem to. Be able to do
looked
that.
out of control. Certainly, I wouldn't say.
Maybe credit, more credits due to Charles Johnson potentially. But just the hype that I've been hearing about him, man. I expected more, but it was definitely a really good performance. So I shouldn't be too sore on him.
Just maybe not as good as you'd like.
Aye, that's it. It just didn't quite live up to the hype, but I think like he's got time yet. You know what I mean? He's a young lad. I mean, literally the youngest in the UFC currently. He's 21, so he is. So.
Aye. With a lot of fights already, like at that age.
So he's a lot of potential there still. Next out, we had our first finish of the night. Jonathan Pierce defeating Makwan Amirkhani, TKO in round 2. Jonathan Pierce picking up a performance of the night bonus for his efforts. I feel for Makwan. Makwan Amirkhani is a guy who's been around for quite a while now. He came fairly close to he's known as a submission guy, and his signature sort of chokes are like front holds, so either anacondas or Darce chokes are his two kind of go-tos. And he came close in the first round, but he just couldn't quite get it done. Jonathan Pierce, he a really good, strong performance for him. Ultimately, he got the finish. I felt like it was maybe slightly too quick a stoppage for the ref, but I can see why he stepped in to protect Amirkhani. Like he was taken a bit of a beating at the point in which the fight was stopped. Then next out, we had Nathaniel Wood defeating Charles Rosa. Interesting one, this. Again, unanimous decision here. Nathaniel Wood, like, he beat the shit out of Rosa, especially his leg, man. He kicked the crap out of his leg. And
refereeing performance for you?
Really, the fight should have been stopped probably on 2 occasions. Very surprised to see it go past the second round. I don't know.
Aye.
I don't know about that one.
It's the fact that the fella's lying face down on his knees, fetal position almost, and Wood's asking the ref to check what's going on because he's no one to hat down, prone the portlet.
Yep.
He's offering no defence to himself. He would have took hat upon hat if Wood was so inclined to do that. So poor for me. I thought that was a reason to stop the fight there. I don't know about you guys. Yeah. I'm not the expert, I've got to say.
No, I think on that occasion, like just the body language and stuff alone, like Rosa was beat mentally, physically. He had nothing left. He survived it, but I mean, at what cost? You know what I mean? He didn't need to be taking the punishment. I kind of wish, like, Nathaniel Wood, there's a wee bit of negative there, because as tough as Charles Rosa is, there was plenty of opportunities for Wood to kind of go into that 5th gear, 6th gear, whatever, just to push up a level, and whether it was through striking or whether it was like when Rosa's down and seemingly beat into a heap on the floor, like jump on him, grab a real naked choke or something, just sort of take that wee bit of a risk to try and finish it. But you can't be too sore on him because his striking looks sensational. Wood, he couldn't miss. He really did beat Rosa pillar to post, man. He dominated. So aye, I don't know.
Very sound one.
Then we had Mark Diakese defeating Damir Hadzovic. Unanimous decision again. Aye, no bad one for Diakese. It wasn't the most exciting fight, but it was alright. Then we had Ludwig Klein defeating Mason Jones. Mason Jones, kind of expected a wee bit more from him, but it was a decent performance for Klein, picking up the win there. Jones being kind of sort of the local guy, being Welsh. But
one of the home fighters.
It wasn't the best fight, it wasn't the worst. It was. There was a few of them on this card, unfortunately. Main card opener: Volkan Ozdemir, Paul Craig. Bit of a shit show.
Now, I remember you saying ages ago that his kind of routine that he does will catch eventually. Eventually, he'll run into somebody too good for him with this kind of tactic, a trapdoor spider, and try to let folk onto him thing.
Aye.
I get texts from both you and from Gordon Pope at the exact same time saying he has took a battering at exactly the same time.
It's like, you know, after the second round, going into that third round, Craig's cornerman needed to be telling him, look, you just have to go and swing for the fences. It's no working. Get everything you've got. You know what I mean? You're like, right now you're losing the fight, you might as well go out in your shield. And it was just made of the same in the third round, unfortunately. I mean, like, he was initiating takedowns, he was trying, but then as soon as, you know, like, he's no got the ability to, like, chain wrestle, right? So whether he's shooting a double, shooting a single, going for an ankle pick, trying to bum rush him into the cage to work on some kind of trip or whatever it might be, he's got that, like, one bit of offense, and then when that doesn't work, he just pulls either backs away or he tries to pull guard.
It's a trapdoor spider. If you don't get the trapdoor, nothing's going to happen.
Then the thing is, for me, that I don't love, like, it looks like a hero when he pulls this off, right? But when he's like pulling guard and stuff like that, it's like, how do I describe it, man? He's not attacking in what he's doing. It's like, do you know, Harvey, do you remember the dead weight thing for rugby that they taught us years ago, where it's like, if you're against a bigger guy and you're struggling with, like, try to go like kind of mano for mano in the upper body, grab onto their shirt or sleeve, whatever you can get, and just fall and just use your dead weight to, if no, get them down, to slow them down to somebody can help you. So, it's sort of like that. He just hodds on and falls and hopes for the best. And then if he gets the opportunity, he'll start flying up the legs and he'll work on a submission. Like, when somebody's pulling guard, you want to see them, like, you know, like, jumping to a particular side, trying to throw up a flying triangle, like, going, you know what I mean, clinching the upper body and then maybe try to trip the legs, like just that wee bit extra. It just, for Craig, it just feels like
he's waiting for them to make a mistake.
It's too one-dimensional.
To me, it's like he's just sitting there and he's like, right, at some point they're going to fuck up and I can use that to my advantage. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he'll put his arm somewhere where he's not supposed to be and then I can just pounce on it, you know? But like, not everybody's like making
credit to him for for getting to the end of the fight. Like, Ozdemir's no a joke, man. Like, that guy hits bloody hard. So, Paul Craig got rocked 2 or 3 times. Like, badly rocked. He is proper tough, is Paul Craig. Like, I applaud him for having the balls to stay in there and having the toughness to survive.
I applaud him for having the hair and the beard. Like, what's his name? This is Sparta 300. He's proper wrong the Gerard Butler, man.
The Butler, aye.
Beautiful.
Like, he's going to heart of a warrior, but he needs to have a better game plan. You know what I mean? It's, as you say, Paul, I've spoke about it before. Like, what he's done is amazing, and he's pulled off some big kind of comeback wins, but that's not getting him a title, let alone a title shot, let alone a title.
Aye.
Against
probably finds his
the
level as a gatekeeper.
So it's unfortunate.
I've never understood. Sorry, when folk like fighting. Sorry, when you know that you're losing, why? And it like going into the last round. Why'd you just go back in there and do the same thing? I've never understood that. It makes no sense. That much
conviction in your tactics, is that what it is?
I think there's different reasons for it, right? For some guys, it's going to be like the being in the moment, like the adrenaline's pumping. You know what I mean? Your back's up against the wall. You're even with your corner trying to give you instructions, you're just not thinking clearly. You're going to muscle memory. You're going to what you know and what you're comfortable with. And then for other guys, it's ignorance. You know what I mean? It's just thinking that I'm going to catch him. You know what I mean? Whether it's they're looking for a haymaker punch, whether they're like Paul Craig and they're waiting for him to fall into a position where he can grab a submission. It's just that the ignorance of thinking eventually I'm going to get him without, and you're not going out there and changing what you're doing. I mean, it's obviously really easy for me to dig into him without being in there myself, you know what I mean? I don't know if there's something else going on. I have to say, like, he did look slower, Craig, in this fight than I've seen him. Like, he's not known for being fast and explosive, but he looked like he was running through mud in this fight. He's everything, punches, kicks, even his movement seemed sort of sluggish. So I don't know if he's, something's happened in training camp. He's whether his fitness hasn't been there or whether he's been dealing with some kind of injury or something. I don't know. I don't know, maybe something on his mind or whatever. I don't know what's been going on. So I don't want to slate him too much, but it's just unfortunate. Like, so he has to change something going forward. You know what I mean? There's the rest of the top 10 isn't going to be much better for him. There'll be a couple of guys where he'll match up better, but like once you're against the elite of the division, like he needs to do more. He needs a better game plan. So yes, now slight upturn. Molly McCann, Hannah Goldie. Meatball does it again, man. She set up the TKO with the spinning back elbow. That's 2 fights in a row with the spinning elbow, man. That's obviously this time she didn't get the finish with the elbow. That just kind of led her into the TKO finish, but impressive, man, that she picked up a performance of the night for her win, so she did. Just impressive.
I'd just like to pull out the commentary said that nearly connected, it quite clearly connected for me, that spinning back elbow. I would say there's plenty of that connected.
What?
During the commentary, one of the commentaries, I don't know who said it, said that it nearly connected the elbow, the spinning back elbow.
All right.
I would have said that connected. I don't know about you.
That sounds like something that John Gooden, John Gooden.
It could have been me. I mean,
play for play stuff.
Whether he thinks it's no landed sound, but
it's probably like the angle he's had that's no looked as solid or whatever, but I know
Yes.
it definitely landed.
I did it sweet bit, didn't it? Good on her, man. Awesome.
She had her rocked, like, so like she'd backed her into the cage and she had her rocked, and you could see the pause where she was like, I think I can get it here. And then she was like, I'm going to go for it. And then she flung herself into it. Because the way she does it's wild. Like, it's not like a traditional, like, kind of karate or taekwondo sort of style, kind of stepping in, turning elbow. It's like a kind of rolling haymaker thing. Like,
It's like a kitchen sink, man,
Aye,
getting thrown at
she
you.
flings
It's what it
herself
is.
at
It's
it.
everything goes into that. It's outstanding when it lands, man.
bye. Impressive, man. And I'd actually nod to her.
Wasn't impressive.
In her post-fight interview, she had the full crowd singing the fuck the Tories.
Yeah, fuck Tories again,
I can't have anything but love for her, I'm afraid, from me. I totally agree.
That bit I did like.
So next up we had a bit of a mugging. Nikita Krylov and Alexander Gustafsson. Poor Gus.
It's perfect example of somebody needing to retire, and it really that'll do.
He should probably have stayed retired, it would seem, unfortunately.
It was sad.
I mean,
for me,
yeah, it was
Wasn't it?
sad.
From the first punch.
See, to be honest, the referee could have stopped that fight. But 20 seconds into it.
First
so he
punch,
could have-
man, he was already all over the
Like,
place. I was like, oh no.
Aye.
Kudos to him for
Aye.
staying in there.
He's stuck in, like, but aye. And then remember there was talk of him saying that he would go up to
He
heavyweight.
did, he did.
Sweet Jesus.
He went to heavyweight and it didn't work out for him.
That was before this fight. Aye.
He came out of
Imagine
retirement and
going
went to
to
heavyweight. Nevertheless, Krylov soundly knocked Gustafsson out.
Yes.
And it was like a wee sneaky uppercut while Gustafsson was holding on to Krylov's leg.
Mm-hmm.
But the damage had been done by then anyway. Like, the wee uppercut that actually kind of dropped him, put him out. Like, that was kind of par for the course. By then the damage was done.
Yep.
So then the people's main event next. Paddy Pimblett, Jordan Levitt. Not necessarily the again for the sort of second time in a row, not the performance that Pimblett was necessarily hoping for. Slightly rough first round. But I mean, it's kind of to be expected. Pimblett, although he has decent sort of wrestling defence and he's a decent grappler, he's no known for that, you know what I mean? That's not his strongest facet, and Jordan Levitt is a really good grappler. So kind of expecting it to kind of go that route, no too much striking sort of thing. Ultimately Pimblett picking up a real naked choke win, second round. So he got the job done, albeit not quite how he hoped to do it sort of thing. But again, he picks up the finish, and don't think I said Krylov got a performance of the night bonus for his stoppage of Gus, and Paddy Pimblett got a performance of the night bonus as well for his submission win. But I think, like, for that, it's all about, okay, the fight wasn't what he hoped for, but he got the job done, and the biggest thing coming out of that was the message for Pimblett. Like, the lads are an absolute superstar already, and I kudos to him for being able to kind of keep his shit together, and like, he gave like a really kind of poignant, kind of emotional speech in his post-fight interview, like a really strong message that I think we can quite easily get behind. It's something that, like, we've kind of spoke about before, and like, we always have the details in the episode descriptions for addiction and mental health and stuff. We're basically one of Paddy Pimblett's close friends, unfortunately took his own life sort of overnight, Thursday going into Friday, so going into weigh-in day. So Paddy woke up to the news, unfortunately, early hours of Friday morning, and he somehow kept it together for the fight. And if like if you've no seen any clips or whatever else, like, go and listen to what he said. It's all over social media, but no.
It's pretty beautiful, man.
Aye. Just that, like, there's no way I could say it any better than
I went to his funeral. It's lovely.
Aye.
It's true, man. That is true.
So aye,
absolutely.
Man, when you get past the stigma, man, like,
yeah,
guys, if you're struggling, just speak to somebody. You know what I mean? Even if it's a stranger in the street, speak to somebody. You know what I mean? Ask if you need help. Ask for help. Don't suffer in silence. Aye, so a lot of love for Paddy and for, like, all his kind of friends and family that are going through that stuff now. And then serious kind of dampener after that. Co-main event was Jack Hermanson and Chris Curtis. It was supposed to be Darren Till in there.
Yep.
But I think he picked up a bit of an injury, but he's suffering with some kind of mental struggles as well now. So he's kind of taking time out to heal up his injuries, but also kind of sort himself out on the mental side and kind of refocus himself on the training. So I think if he'd been fighting, win, lose or draw, like, the energy would have been there still. You know what I mean? The crowd would be behind him. But this fight, man, Jack Hermanson, Chris Curtis, it was no particularly fun to watch. Hermanson, he did what he had to do to win. Obviously, it was a late notice thing, so he wasn't able to come in with, like, a great game plan. But he kind of stayed on the outside and he did what he had to do. He got the win over Curtis, but Chris Curtis just came away for that looking like an absolute arsehole, I've got to say.
Right. Well, not even that. Do you know what a lot of folk were saying to me? Oh, it's an amazing performance from Hermanson, and I was like, well, I wouldn't say amazing. It was good, but, like, Chris Curtis was just giving him out. Chris Curtis wasn't doing it. Chris Curtis was a boxer inside that ring. I don't remember him throwing a kick.
I'm pretty sure he just stood. Fight, to be honest, I switched off, man, and that's saying something for me to switch off watching a fight. That's saying something, man.
There was one or two times where Chris Curtis, like, landed a few punches, but I think it was, can't remember, one of the commentators was saying what Chris Curtis needs to do is let Jack Hermanson come to him, because he's just walking forward and Jack Hermanson's just staying away from him. Like, he's bigger than him, he's got more reach and he's just kicking him. And it's true. Like, if he had let him come and then tried to counter him, like, when he's throwing a kick or whatever, like, aye. And then at the end,
gave him the fires,
the finger and said something about running.
It was kind of running or something.
Like
we stood in his corner and that, and then he got shouted over to the centre so that they could do the wee bit where the referee holds their arms, and then the decision gets called. Referee lifts an arm, and he basically he went over for just long enough for the kind of the announcement to start getting called, and then he just flipped the bird to Hermanson and then said something to him and buggered off. Right.
I bet he was kind of mocking him as well, like saying like, "Oh, you were running or something." It's like, mate, why? Like, you've just lost the fight.
So
what are you talking about?
Like, what did you want him to do? Like, go in and do an impression of a fucking punching bag and just stand there for you? Like, you know what I mean? If you're not going to engage or switch it up and like maybe just claim the centre and tell him to come to you, like if
I don't even know if there was any attempted takedowns or anything.
I'd have to go back and look at this. I don't remember anything.
No, I think maybe Hermanson maybe tried to take him, but I don't remember.
I don't remember him doing it.
Throwing a kick or trying to for a takedown, shoot for a takedown. Nothing. Literally just standing, trying to land punches. If that's what you've got to do, you might get in a boxing ring.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if that's what you've got to do, you'll have better luck. You know what I mean? I just don't know. I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? Really, but
coming off of the excitement and emotion that had built up with Molly McCann, then Nikita Krylov finishing Gustafsson, then Paddy Pimblett, and everything that happened with it. Like the entrance was amazing, like the fans got nuts, and then obviously the post-fight stuff, and then we went into that, and it was just like such a downer. And then the main event, Jiminy Cricket, man.
Started off like it was going to be an absolute banger, and then
so Curtis Blades, Tom Aspinall, 15 seconds in, it had all the makings of being a great fight. It's a really good, interesting matchup, the two of them. And 15 seconds into the fight, Tom Aspinall throws a leg kick, goes to step back, and then something his knee popped, and down he went. And that was it.
Game over.
I was watching something that a doctor, and he broke down the whole thing. Like it shows you the kick and everything, and he's showing you like the forces going here, there, and this and that. He reckons it's a PCL. It's the PCL that he's done.
Apparently the doctors and paramedics there had hinted to MCL. So
that's why they had him in the knee brace.
Either of them is horrible.
It was nothing good. He was in crazy pain, so he was.
You see, at first I thought it had popped it because he wasn't moving it. But then looking at I think I even said that in the message, like I hope it's just a simple dislocation. But looking at it,
not moves. It just the only thing that you can see is that he does when he goes to step in it, he can't fully straighten the leg. It's like it locks on him, and then he just goes down. Man, it's quite a shame.
Aye.
It was it looked like it was going to be a great fight. I mean, kudos to Curtis Blades. So after the fight, he went in and had a beer with Tom Aspinall.
Any harm to Curtis Blades, man. He handled it as well as he could.
Like, I've never seen Curtis Blades doing anything like bad.
No, he's a sound guy. So he's one of these guys that kind of keeps himself to himself, and he sort of lets the fight do the talking. He's not a guy that's getting on the mic and cutting promos. You know what I mean? He's a very, very good wrestler. Man. He's got a bunch of records in the UFC for like number of takedowns in a round or in a fight and whatever. Like he's a really good wrestler when it comes to MMA, and his striking's improved a lot. His boxing's get a lot better. So like he is sort of on the ascendancy. So I was looking for that was going to be a real big test for Tom Aspinall to see like is he because like he's got all the potential to be a world champion. I've previously tipped him to be a future champion. So it was just I was wondering going into that, like, is it now? You know what I mean? Is he ready, or does he need another couple of years? Unfortunately, we didn't get to see. So I reckon we don't see him for probably about 12 months, based on the type of injury it looks like it could be. It's very possible it could be more than 12 months. It might be the guts of 12 months, sort of rehab and stuff before he's fully training. Just depending on exactly what it is and how bad it is. So
depends.
Obviously, everybody heals at different rates and stuff. So he's still young. So he's and he'll. In theory, like he keeps himself in good shape. He's an athlete, so he should hopefully heal that wee bit quicker. But, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Righty-ho. Well, let's round this out. We are bordering on an hour, so we're quickly running out of time. Let me just say that next week we have the return of Dana White's Contender Series. For anybody that's interested, catch that on UFC Fight Pass internationally, and it's shown on I think ESPN Plus or something like that in America. So it's season 6 coming up on the 26th, which I believe is Tuesday. And then from there, just the one kind of big show coming up next week. We've got UFC 277 July 30th. That's at the American Airlines Centre in Dallas. The card is as follows: Dante Lamaez versus Hamdi Abdelwahab. That's a name. Orion Koska versus Blood Diamond. That's mate and training partner of Israel Adesanya, Blood Diamond. Then we have Nikolai Negumarino versus Ior Butera. Ji-Yoon Kim versus Maria Agapova. Ramiz Brahimic versus Michael Morales. Diego Ferreira versus Drakkar Klose. Alex Morono versus Matthew Semalisberger. Drew Dober versus Rafael Alves. Rounding out the undercard. Then main card, I should say. We have Magomed Ankalev versus Anthony Smith. Alex Perez versus Alexander Pantoja. Derek Lewis, the Black Beast, returning versus Sergey Pavlovich. Brandon Moreno versus Kai Kara France. I believe that's for the interim bantamweight title. Then we have Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunes in the main event. Rematch for the bantamweight title.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh yes. So, that is that. Any final thoughts, lads? Shake of heads. Oh dear. Right. If you have been, thank you very much for listening. I've been Mick, they've been Harvey and Paul, and see you next week, troops. Bye bye, driver.
See you next week, troops.
Bye bye, driver.